Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I am a healer, and this is Energy Paradigm, where we are bringing through messages that have to do with the awakening process. So these are messages about awakening, and of course, about learning how to live as an energy being. So welcome if you're new. Welcome if you're a returning subscriber. You know how this goes. I have a deck. This is the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Alana Fairchild, and I bring through messages that Spirit wants to share with us. And especially today, Spirit wants to talk about levels. So, to talk about how to start reading different levels of reality and acting accordingly. And it's very fitting because when I'm recording this, and I imagine when you would be watching this, we are in a time where there's a ton of frequency shifts. So this happens quite often, and it's going to be actually happening a lot in the end of 2023, throughout 2024, throughout 2025, and into kind of the beginning of 2026. So we're in for a doozy. So it should be a relevant video for a little while to come. So let's look at this. This is the Crystal Mandala Oracle by Alana Fairchild, if I have not mentioned it. So let's see how Spirit wants to talk about levels. We have got a first card that is From Word to World. Literally talks about frequency. We have got Divine Alchemy. And we have got Divine Perfection. Ooh, interesting. So I need to find the booklet for this because it literally talks about frequency. So just a moment. So I looked, there we go again, and we're going to read just the beginning and then a couple of words into it. So it says, we bring you the empowerment of word to world. What you speak of with intention, you shall manifest. You are blessed with the creative power of an open and activated throat chakra. As you release subconscious fear of speaking your truth, memories of being silenced, and claim your true divine voice, your ability to change your world through your intention is amplified. You have the power of divine creation through sound in you. What you wish to create and experience, speak of with joy. I love it. And then it says, there are many times on the spiritual path when we feel we are in circumstances not of our conscious choosing. In fact, we may think, there's no way I would have chosen this situation. Perhaps the mind would not. Yet through the frequency of our being, we are attracted to various people, places, and things. If we have healthy self-esteem and so on and so forth. So it keeps going, but it's through the frequency of our being. So what Spirit wants to talk about and levels is to start to recognize in our own lives and in our circumstances, in our experiences, that there are different levels to things, that there are things that, yes, we would consciously choose to experience. There are things that we would not consciously choose to experience that are still here. There are things that we would never consciously choose to experience that we don't, and so on and so forth. So to start to look at different levels of reality and to start to really understand that there are different levels of intentionality that can then come into play. So this would be how it would play out. There we go, unfold, play out. It would be, for example, let's say you're in a situation and you want to start a certain habit. Then in that, you have all of your initiative, you have all of your say-so in what you do, when, where, how, and you can start that habit. But maybe you get a new shift at work and then it makes it difficult to keep that habit going. Then that's an external influence that has some degree of ability to determine whether or not you're going to continue with this habit, but not fully, because it's still in your power. You can still do it at another time, in another way, and so on and so forth. So there's a level at which you have a certain level of influence, and then there's a level at which you don't, which would be the shift at work. And then in the same way, maybe it's a habit like you start to run, right? And then you really like to run. Well, it's really easy to do it in the summer. It's harder to do it in the winter because then there's sleet and snow and maybe a snowstorm and so on and so forth. So today there's no running, right? And it's about looking at those levels in a very empowered way, where you always are maintaining your own initiative and saying, this I can do, this much I can do, and being aware and starting to read the other levels to find that, and I kid you not, we have divine alchemy, which talks about transmuting and transforming what we then can work on, right? So there are things that I can do. There are things that I can decide, and I can say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to run. I'm going to, put on my running gear, leave the house. And then there are things that have to do with, for example, the shift from work, but those things are not necessarily fixed. And so what Spirit is saying is that through the awakening process, and especially right now in these times of rising frequency, it's very important that we start to take on this habit of questioning reality and of questioning, again, the levels. Is this a level at which I have influence? Is this a level at which I do not have influence? Is it a level at which I should not have influence? Let's not mess with the weather so we can have our way, right? Those kinds of things, that there's a kind of wisdom that is ready to start birthing within you, and that is really like a sprout, and the first tendrils are coming up and it's going to start birthing and growing and evolving. And it's a wisdom that has to do with recognizing that yes, you have the power of alchemy, meaning you have the ability to transmute certain things to make them into a better version of themselves, and you have the ability to transform certain things to make them into something different. You have the ability to evolve yourself, situations and circumstances. You have so much say because you are a divine being, divine creator. You have so much say in how things are going to unfold, but it's about learning how to work that, and again, to what extent. And that's where the levels come in, because we have divine perfection. We have divine perfection, and divine perfection is, I like Spirit saying, it's almost like the destination of the teaching that is being shared here, but at the same time, it's also the starting point. So it would be to say that all things happen for my highest good. Everything that is happening is serving me and is working out for my highest good. But at the same time, I get a tremendous amount of say in shifting and changing and modeling things. So things are perfect, but they're not. They are the way that they're supposed to be, but they're also needing to evolve, so that there is perfection, and then there's also the need for progress, and that those things don't have to be opposing one another. And it's especially the case when we have this divine alchemy and this divine perfection working hand in hand. It's like, almost like Spirit is saying, it would be the habit of looking at your life situations, circumstances, dynamics that are currently unfolding in your life, and looking at them and saying that because I can accept them as being divinely perfect, and I'm okay with them, and I'm fine with them, there's a form almost of surrender to it, and allowance, and also trust in how the way that things are. You can see the light in them. Can see the good in them, which is really the starting point, because that's the source. That's the divine energy, the creativity within the situation that is going to allow you to start getting creative and start shaping and molding it to how you want it to be. So because you can see that divine perfection at play, then you also get to change it, because you're not going to be changing it from fear. You're not going to be changing it from rejection. You're not going to be changing it from, oh my God, I cannot stand that it is like this one more second and your whole body is having a rejection response. It's not that. It's devotional, honoring. There's a deference, a reverence to it, almost seeing it like it's sacred, right? This challenge, this issue, it is everything working out for me. But you know what? I can just shape and mold it into something a little more preferential that I prefer, right? And something a little more gentle, something a little more fun, something a little more pizzazzy, or even just less hard. And to go above, and again, that's the level, right? There is a level at which divine perfection is unfolding and playing out in every single moment, bar none. Always divine perfection is unfolding. And then there's a level at which we have a conception of how, you know what? This is challenging, this is difficult, but it is working out for my highest good. I can see that I can see that I can learn here, I can grow here, I can evolve here, I can pick up some skills, I can expand my sense of self. I see that that is possible here, and that that is what is intended to unfold. Awesome. And then there's another level where, oh, okay, everything's fun, everything's working out for my highest good, but there are things that I love, there are things that I'm passionate about, there are things that I absolutely want to experience, there are things that I have a drive toward, and that I want to start to intend because I value those things. And even if they're not in the way that the scenario is currently unfolding, even if there's the highest good, even if there's perfection, even though those levels are there, I still can intend either the same, either to deepen it and expand it, or to change it and to make it into something different, right? Transmute it into a higher order of itself, but we're still accepting the self, or transform it into something completely different, but still from a space of acceptance of what it is to begin with. And those are different levels, but at the core of it, there is going to be this power to affect, shape, and mold our reality into what we want it to be. And there was a core line here, or a key line here, that was about speak of it with joy. It's about alchemy through joy, alchemy through expansion, alchemy through embrace and not rejection, not fear, not limitation, and so on and so forth. And those things are absolutely possible, by the way. We can alchemize through fear. We can alchemize through kind of craving. There's a lot, I see a lot on videos, for example, where people say, like they see a reading and they're like, I claim this, and there's this energy, and that people think of it attractional, so as come here, come here, come here, come here, for example, right? And that can lead to manifestations, but this is not what spirit is talking about here. And again, it does speak to knowing the level and recognizing the level. I'm being brought back to continually the serenity prayer. There is something to that, which would be something like, God, give me the serenity, the peace to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It would be this kind of dynamic. Again, those levels. There are things over which we have no power, no say, nothing. Awesome. And then there are things over which we have a lot of power and we have a lot of say, and equally awesome. Again, I remember one day I have a really good flow with the weather. So if I have to go somewhere and it's raining all day, I don't even think about it. I don't even worry about it, because the moment that I do step out of the house, it's going to stop raining. I'm going to do my thing, come back home, and then it's going to start raining again. So for example, that's how it was, right? How it is. And I've noticed over time that how it is. And then one day I was looking out the window and it was raining, and I just wanted to go sooner than when it just naturally would end. And I was like, oh, maybe I should like consciously like commune and get the rain to stop, right? Let's see if I could do that. That would be awesome if I had that power, right? And Spirit was like, would you really want it? Would you want the power to affect the ecosystem, right? And then there's no rain here, but the plants need it, the trees need it, and so on and so forth. And I remember that coming in, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't want that power. I don't want that level of influence. It's a level of influence that exists within the planet, within nature, within a higher intelligence than my own, certainly embodied and that I'm conscious of. And I don't want to handle that. The highest good of all is playing out. Rain here and not here, not here, especially in a time of climate change. I'm like, no, I don't want to mess with that. And it's about recognizing those levels. Oh, God, thank God. Thank God divine timing is on the case. I don't need to worry about how this is going to unfold. And there, do I do this first? Do I do that first? I need to be here. I need to be focused. I need to be on purpose. And I need to follow my love, my heart. What I love and value, follow it, navigate according to that. And then, wow, I'm at the right place at the right time. Wow, the rain stopped. Yay. Wow, the rain started again. Yay, right? There was a time here when I think there was a week when it just started raining all the time. And I was like, awesome. I actually have a ton of work to do. I'm gonna be home all the time. House super cozy, and also because it rained, my neighbor's kids weren't out in the garden screaming, so my whole like work schedule just expanded. It's those kinds of things. There's an intelligence and a beauty in the way in which things come together, and when we surrender to that and we trust in that and we align with that and we allow that to guide us, right? When we follow that, well, really we are in co-creation. So that there's a part where we are creators. Awesome, let's do everything that we can to the utmost of our abilities. And then there's a part where there is creativity, just the force of creativity, just making things happen. And that is beyond our pay grade. That is another level. Awesome. And we trust in that and we delegate to that. And again, have reverence and devotion and trust and faith and the beautiful ways in which the universe can make things happen, right? And then there's a level in between where there's co creation. And I feel like that's what Spirit wants to speak to now. Let's see. We've got safe to be seen. Interesting. And we have got heavenly mercy. Wow. Okay. Yay. Okay. Oh, this is so cool. All right. Safe to be seen is a card that talks about having a destiny that is linked to energy work, that is linked to spiritual leadership, that is linked to, in this context, it would be also to ride these frequency waves and to be very much at the forefront of the global awakening process. So to be stepping into like new energetic territories and having new potentials and experiences that can happen. But safe to be seen also talks about a sense of vulnerability in being in those new territories. And it's very understandable, Spirit is saying, because it is like you would to do it in this way completely disregards the status quo. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks, actually. But we have a way in which we've learned to function and to play the game, and especially what we would call like the earth game, right? We know how to play the societal game. We know how to play the social games. We know how to play the romantic games. We know how to play seduction games. We know how to do certain things, right? And to show up in certain kinds of ways. But this is like learning a whole new game. So it would be that game change energy and aspect. And so there's a sense of vulnerability into going into dynamics and to start working these levels, and maybe precisely to defer to spirit, to defer to divine timing, to rely on divine timing. And there's a message here about, especially something with safe to be seen, it's about other people, about how to communicate to other people, right? Hey, what are you waiting for? Well, I'm waiting for divine timing. Hey, let's go out. We'll take umbrellas. Nah, the rain is going to stop when I feel like it. I'm just going to flow around the house. When I feel like going, the rain is going to stop. They're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think you're crazy, right? And it's that sense of vulnerability. And it's linked to other people. It's linked to society. But Spirit is saying fundamentally it's linked to the part of you that's still wired into those concepts and ideas and that way of functioning, which is fine. Which is absolutely fine. It's not supposed to go. You're supposed to retain that. It's the reality principle, like in Freudian psychology would be the equivalent of that. It's like egoic processes. When people don't have an ego or don't have a healthy ego, it's a borderline personality disorder. You don't want that, right? And yeah, we're not going to go there, but we're going to stay here. We don't want to go there. It's very, very important to stay on point and to stay focused, and the ego does bring us that in terms of strategies and application, and again, a reality principle, some form of touch with reality. We can see in these times of global ascension how many people have gone into this energy, into this elevation, and then all of a sudden they're talking about dragon energies and Hitler and what was he saying again? Grant conspiracies, right? I'm talking about Kanye, for example. I hear Kanye talk and he starts talking about dragon energy and this and that. And I get it. I had the same, I felt that energy at some point and that kind of awakening process. But to me, in my experience, I stayed more grounded. And to me, I see him as having kind of become ungrounded and in a very public kind of way. So it's like going even further in terms of creating a certain fluidity in your reality, but it's very important to stay grounded. And so this safe to be seen, Spirit is saying it's not all bad. It's not all a bad thing wanting to stay kind of relevant to the people around you or to the paradigm around you. It's not all bad. It's not all nonsense, right? One of the things that we have in our common paradigm, for example, is mathematics. You don't want to go around saying, well, there's a level at which all things are one, so everything is one. And someone asks you 5 plus 5, you go 1. 10 plus 10, 1. You don't want to do that, right? That's not productive for you. It's not going to help you. And so there's a degree to which there's a level where you want to listen to this, where you want to listen not to be small, not to be limited, not to hold yourself back, but really Spirit is saying to come into a different sovereign space where it's perfectly okay. Again, that lack of rejection, it's perfectly okay that you think what I'm doing is weird. And I can consider it, right? You think that what I'm doing is weird because from your perspective, I should be the one to decide when I'm leaving the house and so on and so forth. That makes a lot of sense. And then to some extent, it can look like, oh, I used to live like that. It didn't work for me. This works a lot better for me. And so I continue doing that. But I can hold the perspective and I can see the different levels. And it's perfectly fine. It doesn't hurt me. I'm not stressed. I'm not feeling like challenged or triggered. And I'm not going like, low vibration, get away from me. It's just like, okay, it's a different level and it's a different perspective. And it has its place here. And Spirit is saying, especially if you have a purpose and a drive and a direction in this world where you're going to create things and you're going to share things and you're going to show up for people, then it's something for you to really take in. It's a level that is very, very useful and where we're going to be very aided and supported, as we will see also with the next card, in making things happen. So two things came up. Example, Lauryn Hill. I was watching Lauryn Hill. She has an amazing song with Nas, a rapper, and it's Nas's song, and she is guest starring on the song, and she has a line that just sent chills through my entire body, and she said, I'm out here saving souls and you're complaining about my lateness. And it's so powerful. And she's like, this is my truth and I won't be bought or pulled out of it. And I'm perceiving I have a mission. I'm out here saving souls. And then people are complaining that I'm showing up 2 to 3 hours late for concerts. And yeah, honey, they are. And from their perspective, it's absolutely appropriate. And at her level, I understood so completely, been there, done that. There is a point when you're evolving, especially with frequency shifts, to try to hold on to that level where you show up on time, where you're doing the things that other people think that you should be doing, and to be kind of keeping those gears going at the level can be insanely challenging. And so there are times, for example, in my path where Spirit was just like, drop it. Let's do this work higher up and then we'll come back to it later, for example. And it's very hard to keep all of those things, all of those balls in the air. Absolutely. I heard her. But it's also equally I suppose not maybe appropriate or understandable that her ticket sales would suffer because no, people don't want to stand and wait for 2 to 3 hours because you're out there saving souls, right? So then there are ways in which to resolve all that. How do I resolve that? How do I do less concerts? Do I do this and this and that, right? Or not now, and it's a matter of timing. So there are all of these dynamics, and especially when we're in a time of frequency shifts and we're in a time where we're trying to birth a whole new way of being and living and existing in the world, and especially again of creating and trying to be relevant and grounded and create things that people will really show up for and find themselves in so that they can evolve and they can grow and they can become something, right? It's not just empty. It's not just you know which is also part of it, to just, I'm doing this for my own growth. I'm doing this for my own self-discovery. Absolutely appropriate. And there has to be space for that. But Spirit is talking about a frequency shift that is about showing up, that is about being heard, that is about being seen, and to do it in a way where all of you is represented, but also all the levels have to be there so that there's grounding and it's gonna hold. There's a foundation, it's gonna hold. You say you're gonna be there at 7 o'clock to start the show. You're gonna start the show at 7 o'clock. And again, that is completely and wholly appropriate. Then there was something else, but I lost it. It will come back if it needs to be, right? Heavenly Mercy. You are not expected to be able to do this like that. or like that rather. Exactly, right? To time things. I'm speaking, channeling the energy, and then there's the body that needs to keep up, right? And it has to come at the same time, and hopefully so that it fits together and it's communicated properly. All of those things are going to fall into place little by little, and especially in frequency shift. Now, Heavenly Mercy is a card that has multiple levels. One of those levels, it talks about coming into power and coming into your brilliance, your spiritual brilliance, and showing up in your power, and how some people are going to gravitate to that and they're going to love it and great, and some people are going to be they're going to go into rejection and they're not going to be able to handle it because the frequency just shifts too much. And that's okay. And there's a big message here about not dimming your light. Walk through these frequency shifts, do your things, really allow these higher levels of reality to show up for you and to speak to you and to have meaning for you and who you are today, here and now, in your everyday life. When you get your cup of coffee in the morning, when you do your shopping, when you go to work, when you lead this very earthy, mundane life, let those levels of reality really show up and integrate into your everyday reality, because that's what this time is for. That's the work, right? That's why we're here. That's the new arenas that we were talking about. And then there's another level that talks about how you're going to be protected. You're going to be protected as you do this work and as you do this frequency shift. I just wrote today an energy alignment that is about shifting into love-based reality, which should be up about next week. But there's this big message there. There was this big message about, shifting into a love-based reality and needing protection along the way. And that's because when you're shifting into this kind of higher perspective, and again, you're opening up to those levels and you're really bringing them down, you're integrating them into your life. And again, who you are, how you do things, how you live, how you create, when you're bringing those in, then you're unhooking from the old template, the old model, the old system. So all of those things that would have taken care of themselves all of a sudden are kind of left up to chance. Let's go back to the example of Lauryn Hill, or just to give a concert, needing to be on time somewhere, right? Maybe in the old model, you have an alarm clock, and then you have a schedule, and then you have someone that you go to work with, right? And they take you to work and you show up to work on time. But then in the new model, you don't have an alarm clock because you're just following the rhythm of your body, and your body's going to wake you up on time. And in the new model, you don't have a schedule, and you don't know if tomorrow that's going to really fit with the energy of where you're going to be. You don't know if you're going to wake up tomorrow and going to work that day is going to be in alignment with who you are in that moment, in that space. You just don't know. And then that person that used to drive you, they all of a sudden, being around them does not feel good. Does not feel good. The frequencies aren't a match anymore. It is so painful. It feels quite physically painful to be around them, and you just don't want to. And all of a sudden, getting to work, you need a whole new system. You need a whole new way, right? But just because you have to rely on things that are a little less precise than you have known them to be, it doesn't mean that you can't rely on those things. You can wake up on time, just naturally. Your body is going to know, oh, now it's time to get up. And you're going to wake up on time. You're going to wake up and you're maybe not going to feel like you want to go to work, but you're going to be able to work with that and then move your way towards that, right? So it's not something to just listen to blindly either. It is something to meet that feeling. Why doesn't it feel aligned? What is it that's needed? Oh, maybe my inner child is really, really wanting a day off and to play and to have some fun. Okay, you know what? Let's make a deal. I'll go to work, and then as soon as I have my time off, I'm going to be on that swing, on the playground, or maybe like during the lunch break, right? I'm going to hit the swings during the lunch break, and then finally this person, I'm not going to compromise them on that. They won't drive me. I'll take the bus. I'll wake up an hour earlier, take the bus. It is perfectly fine. And then you get to work on time, and so on and so forth. So there's going to be new strategies, but you're going to be supported, and you're going to have help, and you're going to have protection. And I am seeing it like and Naruto. The two protective hands of the Divine Mother are just protecting you, watching over you, ensuring that you do not fail. Because this is not something, it wouldn't be fair, right? To just say go at it in this modern society and just expect you to get it like that. No, you're gonna have help, you're gonna have support, you're gonna have protection along the way. And so it's very important that you also give yourself the grace and you also are merciful with yourself and not expect you to get it like that and have it in place straight away, but give yourself time to grow and to evolve, right? And that's also part of the levels to find. Yes, the universe, perfection and infinite patience with you. Take your time. We'll go around, we'll send the energy back, right? So you also at your level with your strategies and how you go about things, give yourself grace. I cannot do this right now. It's not working. My brain is fried. My body's tired. Not today. Not today. And that's okay. And that's for you to find that within you and work that within you, right? It's, again, that's the level where you come in. And so it's about learning to kind of explore that level, of initiative and empowerment and what you can do. And I feel like it has expanded. There's more that you can do, there's more that you're going to have access to, also more opportunities coming, more possibilities with the frequency shift. So as much as there are certain things that just aren't going to work for you anymore, there are so many more, Spirit is saying, way more that are going to start working for you, that you now can have access to, a way in which you now can live in a way that is really going to serve you and be good for you, which is why it's coming now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but love right now. So love, that was the messages that I have for you. That was the message. Those were the messages that I have for you. See, grammar has to stay. And so we can understand one another. But that was the reading. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this serves you. Would love to hear. I got so many impressions when I was doing this reading. I would love to hear where this landed for you, where this is resonating for you, and where those challenges also are showing up for you. Sending you lots of love. If you feel like sharing, I would love to hear it. Sending you lots of love. Wishing you all the best. All of it. All of it. And until we meet again, see ya. Bye.